Hello and welcome to the No One Asked You podcast. For this particular series, I am joined by my wonderful co-host, That Darn Kitty.
Dorkus and I are both going into the story completely new with almost no knowledge of the story or world.
Each segment we intend to cover what happens in each new chapter and discuss our experience along the way.
Hold on to your butts, because this is Ascension Unleashed, a blind read-through, and today we will be covering Chapter 54.
Chapter 54. A
And it's a
blind, I'm scared.
Yep.
Rest in peace, clubs.
Ah, I'm not over it.
No, me either. So, we know that Vin and Sazed saw each other.
Mm-hmm.
And we had Sazed meet up with Breeze and Ham in the last chapter, correct?
Yep.
That means, hopefully, that Vin is maybe nearby, or she's aware that those two are possibly still alive?
I don't know if she will be. I don't know. I think she's busy fighting.
Yeah, but is she fighting, or is she looking for the Well of Ascension?
Both. She's fighting her way to the Well of Ascension.
Alendi will need guides through the Terrace Mountains. I have charged Rashek with making certain that he and his trusted friends are chosen as those guides. We knew this.
Yes, infiltration. We knew this. Yep, that he's bringing his assassin in. Cool.
That they are Rashek's trusted friends suggests to me that Rashek was not the only one in on the plot.
Yeah. Are these the ones? Because these are the ones that. Because now remember, we got people that were Allomancers, the people that became lords. You know, those were his trusted friends, right? Those were the
yes,
nobility.
those who helped.
Yes, those who. Yeah, so those would be the nobility. Well, the origins of them.
Yes. Venture ancestor.
Mm-hmm. So no, seriously, Venture Ancestor, and there's Terrace in them.
Oh, that's right. Then maybe not so much, because he needed to breed out the Ferochemy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Never mind, but noteworthy. Trusted friends, also probably in on the plot.
Somehow. Yeah. They have to be. They're trusted. They will help him out.
Yes. Vin's staff broke as she slammed it across a Kolos jaw.
Not again.
She thought with frustration, spinning and ramming the broken shard into another creature's chest. She turned and came face to face with one of the big ones, a good 5 feet taller than she. It thrust its sword toward her. Vin jumped, and the sword collided with broken cobblestones beneath her. She shot upward, not needing any coins to carry herself up to eye level with the creature's twisted face. So that jump is reminiscent of the jump from earlier in the book. Very good, Sanderson.
Which jump?
When she was fighting with Ham.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Didn't rhyme for me because I didn't remember. But I'm sorry, you know what I was too busy with? Is with her flying upwards into eye level. Just the comedic way of it. Rather than the epic thing of it. It's more like this little girl goes up to his eye level. I don't know. Yeah, I was too busy with the comedy. Sorry.
Sure. I'm just waiting for her to loot a Kolos sword and start using it.
Yes! Let's go.
They always looked surprised. Even after watching her fight dozens of their companions, they seemed shocked to see her dodge their blows. Their minds seemed to equate size with power. A larger Kolos always beat a smaller one. A 5-foot-tall human should have been no problem for a monster this big.
Have
That's
they never
funny.
encountered... Yeah, I suppose they might not have encountered and fought Mistborn. They don't need to.
Probably not.
But also not one as small as Vin anyway.
Yeah. I mean, look, if a 5-foot girl managed to beat Dwayne Johnson in a fight, I would look surprised too. I bet Dwayne Johnson would look surprised too. Vin flared pewter as she smashed her fist into the beast's head. The skull cracked beneath her knuckles, and the beast fell backward as she dropped to the ground. Yet as always, there was another to take its place.
Yeah, it's relentless. Like, I'm already tired. We're like a couple paragraphs in, and I'm already like, "Oh, Vin, this is
She's
tiring."
been running for
Mm.
days.
And now she's fighting for days.
Yeah. She was getting tired. No, she'd started the battle tired. Pewter dragging, then pushing and pulling the horseshoes in a whirl to carry her across an entire dominance had sapped her strength. Only the pewter from her last metal vial was keeping her upright. Yeah, when this is all said and done, she's gonna be asleep for a month.
And that's okay as long as she has a constant brew given to her. We're good.
Yeah,
I should have asked Sazed for one of those empty pewter mines.
she thought. Ferrochemical and allomantic metals were the same. She could have burned that, though it would probably have been a bracer or a bracelet, too large to swallow.
A ring could
Yeah,
work.
also, yeah. I don't know, have you had a horse pill before?
I've considered swallowing my ring, my wedding ring, to keep it safe before.
Oh, interesting.
It would fit. It would work.
Somehow, though, I imagine the terrace liking chunkier
Yeah,
jewelry.
much chunkier rings.
Yeah.
Okay,
She
Tyndall's rings then. Come on.
She ducked to the side as another Kolos attacked. Coins didn't stop these things, and they all weighed too much for her to push them away without an anchor. Besides, her steel and iron reserves were extremely low. Go
Okay, so
find
this,
Doxon. He's in
yep.
charge of the metals. Also, he may or may not need your help at that moment.
He's asleep. We hope. But that also is why she's not pulling on those massive swords and things. Her steel is and iron is low. So she
Hmm.
shouldn't be using all of it on heavy steels.
Ration.
And
Yep.
yeah.
She killed Kolos after Kolos, buying time for Sazed and the people to get a good head start. Something was different now from when she'd killed at Set's palace. She felt good. It wasn't only because she killed monsters. It was because she understood her purpose, and she agreed with it. She could fight, could kill, if it meant defending those who were unable to defend themselves. Kelsier might have been able to kill for shock or retribution, but that wasn't good enough for Vin, and she would never
Hold
let
up.
it be again.
Mhm. Okay, so we've had this from Vin where it's like she's a bit harsh on Calcia several times, and here it is again. It's like this kind of thing that Calcia is just just a force of retribution, and he's not protecting people. Like she leans a bit more towards him being about retribution than protection. I guess it's a way you can see him. It is a way, and it's the way that she sees him. She sees him as all about a revenge story, not about protection. And the whole point here is that she is not letting retribution be the only driver in it for herself.
Y-
That's the lesson.
yeah, I agree Kelsier killed for retribution.
Mhm.
Righteous fury, avenge the Ska. So
Yeah.
I don't want to deny that element of this thought. Shock? Eh, I'm less convinced of that, but like
Shock when it came to the killing the nobles and things in the house war. He killed for that sort of thing. He did that. I agree that he definitely did kill for retribution. That's not what I'm trying to say that he didn't. But there is also a lot yes, retribution, I could say maybe most of it was a retribution, but there was also concern for his friends that was also driving him.
yeah, I'm
Like,
just going back in my mind, I think 2 chapters where Vin had that thought about Kelsier could kill an Inquisitor,
it was about
except
what.
her metal wasn't meant to kill, but save. And that
Mhm.
comes off the heels of, right. As Kelsier had been near the end, when he had killed the Inquisitor, except her metal wasn't meant to kill, but save.
Yeah, that was
Again, it's just like this somewhat off.
skew. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a weird skew to me that just completely disregards the good of Kelsier. Not saying he's all good, not saying he always did things right or anything like that. I sure as hell don't disagree that he had a dark streak to him, but considering the work Sanderson put in to moving Vin away from Kelsier was a dark guy, And I
Mhm.
thought it was beautifully done to suddenly kind of go back to that and do what I feel is like a deliberate misrepresentation of Kelsier strikes me as not great.
Yeah, it's just to make sure that her character gets fleshed out. So it's like so we're basing it on a flimsy flimsy premise where we're just like, "Oh, hold on, that we can question that a little bit." I don't question Vin's progression and her knowing her place and all of that. And finding that revenge is not the only thing that she will kill for. She will never let it be enough again, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
cool. But we're using a skewed version of Calcia to make that comparison, which is I don't like. I agree with you. It's a bit like, mm.
It's
And it is weird because Calcia isn't all good, like you said. He does have you're just leaning so much on this dark side.
after
Yeah,
the payoff of her finally coming to realize, oh wait, Kelsier wasn't as dark as I thought he was.
yeah.
It yeah.
Oh, well, go Vin though. She knows her place. She can fight. She will fight,
Yeah.
and she's not
Yay,
gonna. Yeah, she Kaladin parallels as well, like fighting for the right reason, that sort of
mm-hmm.
thing. Mm,
Kill to protect.
yeah.
That determination fueled her attacks against the Kolos. She used a stolen sword to cut off the legs of one, then threw the weapon at another, pushing on it to impale the Kolos in the chest. Then she pulled on the sword of a fallen soldier, yanking it into her hand. She ducked but nearly stumbled as she stepped on another body.
So tired.
She thought. There were dozens, perhaps even hundreds of corpses in the courtyard. In fact, a pile was forming beneath her. She climbed it, retreating slightly as the creatures surrounded her again. They crawled over the corpses of their fallen brethren, rage frothing in their blood-drop eyes. Human soldiers would have given up, going to seek easier fights, but the Kolos seemed to multiply as she fought them, others hearing the sounds of battle and coming to join in.
Yeah, that seems about right. It's part of their coding. That's how they work.
Mm-hmm.
And they're a horde. That's what they're doing. That's their I don't think that they're about hoarding because they're so big that they really do just do damage. But for her, that's what's happening now. They're attracted to the heat of battle, no matter where it is. And yes, they're always looking surprised. No, they have no fear. They have absolutely no fear, I suppose. They're surprised that she's fighting, but that's it. There's no like, oh no, I'm going to die. Self-preservation. It's like, yes, let's go. So yeah, I wonder if we can Duralum their ass. Something.
Duralum their ass. Yeah, but she's so low on metals that I wouldn't want to
Right.
waste it for one hit.
Absolutely. If we're going to use the metals, use it to run and find more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed. She swiped, pewter aiding her strength as she cut off an arm from one Kolos, then a leg from another, before finally going for the head of a third. She ducked and dodged, jumping, staying out of their reach, killing as many as she could. But as desperate as her determination was, as strong as her newfound resolve to defend, she knew that she couldn't keep fighting. Not like this. She was only one person. She couldn't save Luthadel alone.
Yep,
Okay?
we know this.
Yep.
We need to. Okay, fine. Sazed, get metals to her. Someone.
Please. Imagine how good she'd be if she were rested, too. Not that she would be particularly rested because of the thumping, but she'd be good.
We need it. Tensoon. Okay. I want Dogasur to come there.
Yes.
His Dogasur is different to Orasur and different to Tensoon. So
Can a Khandra imitate a Kolos?
yeah, I wonder.
And would killing Kolos violate the contract?
Good questions.
Hmm. Hmm. Deus Ex Tensoon?
Deus Ex Marsh is what
Yeah.
I'm thinking. Because Marsh, where the frack have you been?
Yeah.
Come on, come save the day.
Lord Penrod! Sazed yelled, standing at the gates to keep hasting. You must listen to me! There was no response. Keep hasting. Is that the
Right.
one that
I suppose that's where he's
Set
at.
was in?
I don't know. But he's obviously set himself up in here, and I'm expecting him to not want anyone, to not letting anyone in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what must be listened to. Yeah.
Yeah. Penrod's probably out. Like, he's just bunkered up as best he can,
Mhm.
like a coward. I hope not, but you know. There was no response. The soldiers at the top of the short keep wall were quiet, though Sazed could sense their discomfort. They didn't like ignoring him. In the distance, the battle still raged. Kolos screamed in the night. Soon they would find their way to Sazed and Ham's growing band of several thousand. Ooh! Who now huddled
Okay.
quietly outside Keep Hastings' gate. Ooh.
I would expect them not to be all soldiers as well.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
But still significant, like stragglers, people that have survived. Getting together is a good idea.
Yep. Doxson fought till the end. Penrod, it
Mhm.
seems, is turning away those in
Yeah.
need. President Doxson.
Great stuff. Yeah, great stuff, Penrod.
I ha-
It's nice that they've sorry, it's nice that Brandon has given the soldiers a little bit of discomfort. They don't like ignoring him. That's nice.
yeah, they're probably Ska soldiers.
Mhm.
A haggard messenger approached Sazed. He was the same one that Doxson had been sending to Steelgate. He'd lost his horse somewhere, and they'd found him with a group of refugees in the square of the Survivor. Lord Terraceman, the messenger said quietly, I just got back from the command post. Keep Fancher has fallen. Lord Doxson? The man shook his head. We found a few wounded scribes hiding outside the keep. They saw him die. The Kolos are still in the building, breaking windows, rooting about. No body,
We didn't see
no
him die. We didn't
confirmation.
see right? And we're both the same reaction, just like, "Fuck you, we didn't see him die. We saw him get knocked out."
Yeah. No, I refuse. I flat out
Mhm.
refuse. Doxson is not dead.
Mhm.
I do not accept it.
Neither do I. That's 2, okay? The book will now change no matter what,
Mm-hmm.
because we have said that it's not acceptable.
Yeah. He was knocked
We've bent
out.
reality around us. Yeah. He's
He'll
knocked
wake
out.
up under a pile of corpses.
Mhm.
No. Unironically, I still don't believe he's dead.
Yeah, I really don't. Me neither. I need confirmation actually. If you're gonna do that, you gotta confirm it for me because you've left it a little bit too open. That's what
Yeah,
I feel.
I agree.
This is not confirmation for me. They saw him die. This is not confirmation for me.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
I
We saw
agree.
Clubs die. Okay? We
Yes,
didn't we didn't see him die.
correct.
Maybe that's why. Weighing those 2 episodes because they were in the same chapter, weighing them next to each other made us like, "Nah, this can't be it." Maybe we're in denial, I don't care. I like the idea that we're in denial, but I would
It's
need
funny.
people have grief. When they have grief, they go into denial, and that's what we're doing, okay? We need to see the body. People need that sometimes.
Yeah. No, it reads to me like
Mhm.
they want us to think Doxson's dead for an exciting reveal where he's not.
Yeah. And worry. Like I just yes, we know, okay, there's supposed to be an exciting reveal where he's not, but you do carry this worry of maybe I'm wrong the whole way through, which
Mm-hmm.
is very exciting.
Yeah. Sazed turned back, looking over the city. So much smoke billowed in the sky that it seemed the mists had come already. He'd begun filling his scent tin mine to keep the stench away. The battle for the city might be over, but now the true tragedy would begin. The Kolos in the city had finished killing soldiers. Now they would slaughter the people. There were hundreds of thousands of them, and Sazed knew the creatures would gleefully extend the devastation. No looting. Not when there was killing to be done. Dark and accurate.
Mhm. Yeah. I'm wondering, yeah, and they'll just keep going. They're just as long as there's violence to fuel them, yeehaw, they're feeding off of it.
Hmm. More screams sounded in the night. They'd lost, failed, and now the city would truly fall. The mists can't be far away, he thought, trying to give himself hope. Perhaps that will give us some cover. Still, one image stood out to him. Clubs, dead in the snow. The wooden disc Sazed had given him earlier that day tied to a loop around his neck. Also, I've totally just realized Sazed, because of this club's line, did you not have a thought about Doxson being dead? Did I miss it?
Yeah.
No. Why do you hate Dachshund, Sazed?
He's maybe he's just in shock, okay?
You judge
Just in
Dachshund for making good and pragmatic war decisions in a war, and now you can't spare him a single thought after hearing he's dead? Shame
Mhm.
on you, Sazed.
He's a bit busy, okay? I'm hoping that's why.
Sure. No, he's like us. He's in denial. I did not just hear that. Oh, but clubs. I know clubs. I saw clubs.
Yeah, and we knew that that disc was gonna make a comeback. There was gonna be some sort of vision of it, you know?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, he was
But he
wearing
had
it. The
to
wooden disc Sazed had given him earlier that day, tied to a loop around his neck. Clubs kept it. Yay.
yeah, because we didn't have confirmation that he kept it. Like, it was on the table when Saz had walked out.
Yeah.
So that's great. That's also just a nice little, you know, closure. Part of the closure works.
Yes. It hadn't helped. Oof.
Well, it
That's.
helped me.
No, I think it helped. The fact that he took it and wore it, it helped
Mm.
self actualize him. So I think it did
Yes,
help.
absolutely. But it's like it's supposed to protect him or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Sazed turned back to keep hasting. Lord Penrod, he said loudly, we are going to try to slip out of this city. I would welcome your troops and your leadership. If you stay here, the Kolos will attack this keep and kill you. Silence.
Yep, that's it. So he's not saying let us in so we can hide with you. He's saying let's go.
Yeah.
There's people here and we need your soldiers, and this will help us. But
Yep.
but fine, silence. What is he doing? Is he eating?
I don't think he's eating. I think he's cowering.
Okay. He better be.
Yep. Sazed turned, sighing, as Ham, arms still in a sling, joined him. We have to go, Saz, Ham said quietly. You're bloody, Terraceman. Sazed turned. Fearsome Penrod stood on the top of his wall looking down. Well, I guess he's not cowering then. He still looked immaculate in his nobleman's suit. He even wore a hat against the snow and ash. Sazed looked down at himself. He still wore only his loincloth. He hadn't had time to worry about clothing, particularly with his brass mine to keep him warm. I've never seen a terraceman fight, Penrod said. It is not a common occurrence, my lord, Sazed replied. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, it's like yeah, okay, you've never seen it, but hey, it happens, and I'm glad they're conversing. It's a very casual conversation.
Yeah. It is not a common occurrence, my lord, Sazed replied. Penrod looked up, staring out over the city. It's falling, Terraceman. Yeah, as I'm reading this, I'm getting the sense that he's more resigned to death,
Mm,
kind of a vibe.
yeah.
It's falling, Terraceman. That is why we must go, my lord, Sazed said. Penrod shook his head. He still wore Ellen's thin crown. This is my city, Terraceman. I will not abandon it. Oh, well, that's... It would... It sounds noble. It's very much Captain going down with his ship. I appreciate that. Penrod
Yeah.
earns some respect points, but you could be out fighting
Let
too?
let the other go out fighting, and also let the others. Why must they go with him? Stay with him.
Yeah,
He
see,
can be. He
you
can stay there and die. It's cool.
this is the point where if this were Elend and Elend were refusing to leave, this is the point where everyone takes Elend out of the city, kicking and screaming, and that
Hmm.
way he both goes down with the city and doesn't die, and he has his cake and eats
Hmm.
it too.
Yeah, everyone's saved ish.
Yeah, but no respect to Penrod for
Mhm.
this. A noble gesture, my lord, Sazed said. But these with me are your people. Will you abandon them in their fight northward?
There you go. A city isn't just the land; it's the people as well.
Yes, very much so.
Mm.
Penrod hesitated. Then he shook his head again. There will be no flight northward, Terraceman. Keep Hastings is among the tallest structures in the city. From it we can see what the Kolos are doing. They will not let you escape. They may turn to pillaging, Saz had said. Perhaps we can get by them. No, Penrod said, his voice echoing hauntingly across the snowy streets. My Tin-Eye claims the creatures have already attacked the people you sent to flee through the northern gate. Now the Kolos
Mm,
have turned this way. They're coming for us. As the cries echoing through the
okay.
streets came closer, Sazed knew that Penrod's words must be true. Open your gates, Penrod! Sazed yelled. Let the refugees in! Saves their lives for a few more pitiful moments. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it won't matter. He is
Yeah.
bunkering.
Well, what's the point? I'd like again, like go out fighting, or I don't know, do what you can. Don't sit there watching them die. Basically, by
Mm-hmm.
not letting them in.
Yeah. So it's not even that he's cowering, too afraid, and
Mm.
doesn't know what to do. He's
Chosen.
yeah,
He's
he's
decided.
shoving people overboard.
Yeah, exactly. He is also shoving people overboard. He's not helping them out at all.
Yeah. There is no room, Penrod said, and there is no time. We are doomed. You must let us in! Sazed screamed. It is odd, Penrod said, voice growing softer. By taking this throne from the Venture Boy, I saved his life, and I ended my own. I could not save the city, Terraceman. My only consolation is that I doubt Elend could have done so either.
Okay.
I what I'm
Mm.
hearing that sounds weird. I think you're trying to say at least I saved Elend from having to be in my current position.
Yeah, that it could be something you're saying as well. It's like, but also, it's not like he saved Ellen from being in the current position, but his choice wouldn't have made any difference. If if he had let Ellen stay and not defeated Ellen, essentially, this wouldn't have saved the city anyway. Because he's thinking about it that way. Like, what would have the outcome have been if I'd acted differently? Oh, it would have been the same because Ellen wouldn't have saved the city either. So therefore, my hands are clean, ish.
Yeah. This has been a roller coaster. I'm back to not liking Penrod. He turned to go, walking down somewhere beyond the wall. Penrod! Sazed yelled. He did not reappear. The sun was setting, the mists were appearing, and the Kolos were coming.
Revolt against him. He's an asshole. You don't. Why is he? We're all gonna die. Screw this leader.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Oof. Rough. It's gonna be really
Mhm.
awkward when Vin and Ellen save the day and Penrod is there and still king.
Yeah, I actually would like him to be alive. Actually, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Vin cut down another Kolos, then jumped back, pushing herself off a fallen sword. She shot away from the pack, breathing heavily, bleeding from a couple of minor cuts. Her arm was growing numb. One of the creatures had punched her there. She could kill better than anyone she knew, but she couldn't fight forever. Are you looking for the well while you're here,
Middle.
by the way?
I don't think she's got there's too much going on. I mean, she is in a fight for her life.
Yeah. She landed on a rooftop, then stumbled, falling to kneel in a pile of snow. The Kolos called and howled behind her, and she knew they would come chasing her, hounding her. She'd killed hundreds of them, but what was a few hundred when compared with an army of over 20,000?
Jeez.
Yeah,
What did you expect?
she thought to herself.
Why keep fighting once you knew Sazed was free? Did you think to stop them all? Kill every Kolis in the army?
Exactly, Vin. Go find the Well of Ascension.
Do something. Run. Get out of here.
Go to the well, take the power for yourself, pull a Rashek, and shut down every Kolos.
Mhm.
I say jokingly. Once she'd held Kelsier back from rushing an army by himself. He had been a great man, but still just one person. He couldn't have stopped an entire army, no more than she could.
Yeah, we wasted a lot of time figuring that out, I suppose, but
Yeah.
she was just desperate, I suppose.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. I have to find the well.
Good, Vin! Very good, Vin! She thought with determination, burning bronze, the thumping, which she'd been ignoring during the battle, becoming loud to her ears. Yet that left her with the same problem as before. She now knew it was in the city, she could feel the thumping all around her, yet it was so powerful, so omnipresent that she couldn't sense a direction. Besides,
Oh,
what?
that's great.
What?
No, that's great. Now she said it's like, yeah, she's gonna find it, but it's actually it's so omnipresent. So,
Mm,
so she can't like echolocate or some sort
yeah,
of. She's got no direction to it. It's just she's in it essentially.
yeah. Head to the Lord Ruler's palace is the first place I would go.
Mhm.
I would recheck the meditation room.
But first get some metals to keep yourself alive, and I'll
Also
try and
that
find
too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. From there, I'm not sure. Where do you go, Kitty, if you're looking for it?
Yeah, you have to go on Critic Show. You have to figure that out. Go there. Go to his place, and I think try there. That's where the first place. Then I don't know where else I would go.
Yeah. Is there like a basement in Shaw or something? Wells,
I don't
like
know. Yeah, underneath.
yeah, what if all of Luthadel is built on top of the Well of Ascension? Or that
Yeah,
it was buried beneath the city?
why not? It's possible.
Yeah.
But then
Besides,
why was it moving? Why was it moving? I
oh
guess
yeah, 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 because we did suspect Marsh brought it. So find Marsh. Besides, what proof did she have that finding the well would help? If Sazed had lied about the location, had gone so far as to draw up a fake map, then what else had been lies? The power might stop the mists, but what good would that do for Luthadel burning and dying? She knelt. Well, it
that's
might not, but at least you've saved the world.
yeah. Yeah, that's true. If Luthadel did burn, whatever, it's like cool, but we have no more ash. That's great. And no more mists. That is great. So whoever did survive out there, the world has completely changed. You're right.
Yeah. She knelt in frustration, pounding the top of the roof with her fists. She had proven too weak. What good was it to return? What good was it to decide to protect if she couldn't do anything to help? She knelt for a few moments, gasping for breath. Finally, she forced herself to her feet and jumped into the air, throwing down a coin. Her metals were nearly gone. She barely had enough steel to carry her through a few jumps. She ended up slowing near Cretic Shaw, the Hill of a Thousand Spires. Excellent.
Mhm.
Good,
Mhm.
Vin. It's so neat that we're like one step ahead, and I know for a fact Sanderson has prided himself in one of his lectures about writing in such a way as to have the readers feel like they're one step ahead. So,
Mhm.
yay, well accomplished. She caught one of the spikes at the top of the palace, spinning in the night, looking out over the darkening city. It was burning. Cretic Shaw itself was silent, quiet, untouched by looters, yet all around her Vin saw a haunting light in the darkness. The mists glowed.
Yeah, that's all the fires of your city burning. I get you.
And neither Venture nor Set have involved themselves yet. I will be
Yep.
curious if they intend to wait till morning.
Probably. Why
Yeah.
not? Why fight at night?
Yeah.
Unless they're gonna use the mists themselves. Hmm.
Yeah.
It's like that day 2 years ago.
Interesting. It says 2 years ago. Mine says over a year ago. That day over a year
Mm,
ago.
mine says 2 years ago. I think 2 years ago is better than over a year ago. That's clunky.
Yeah. She thought.
The night of the Scar Rebellion.
Except on that day, the firelight had come from the torches of the rebels as they marched on the palace. This night, a revolution of a different type was occurring. She could hear it. She had her tin burning and she forced herself to flare it, opening her ears. She heard the screams, the death. The Kolos hadn't finished their killing work by destroying the army. Not by far. They had only just begun.
The Kolos are killing them all.
She thought, shivering as the fires burned before her.
Ellen's people, the ones he left behind because of me, they're dying. I am his knife. Their knife. Kelsia trusted me with them. I should be able to do something.
She dropped toward the ground, skidding off an angled rooftop, landing in the palace courtyard. Mists gathered around her. The air was thick, and not only with ash and snow. She could smell death in its breezes, hear screams in its whispers. Her pewter ran out. Oof.
Oh no. She's out.
Yeah. So, no, it's good. This'll be a good thing. This is somehow going to help her. I don't know how, but it will. It'll let her
Okay.
concentrate on the
Okay.
thumping without the
Okay.
distraction of the war.
Okay.
She slumped to the ground, a wave of exhaustion hitting her so hard that everything else seemed inconsequential. She suddenly knew she shouldn't have relied on the pewter so much, shouldn't have pushed herself so hard, but it had seemed like the only way. She felt herself begin to slip into unconsciousness. But people were screaming. She could hear them, had heard them before. Ellen's city, Ellen's people, dying. I like the Ellen of it, but also your
Mhm.
people.
Yeah, she's just like, "I'm the knife," or whatever, and why is it all about Ireland? It's your people too. But I guess she just, yeah, she feels disconnected from them. She is such an outsider. The only thing she does care about is just her little circle.
Yeah. Her friends were out there somewhere. Friends that Kelsier had trusted her to protect. She gritted her teeth, shoving aside the exhaustion for a moment longer, struggling up to her feet. She looked through the mists, toward the phantom sounds of terrified people. She began to dash toward them.
What is that gonna do? You can
Yeah,
hardly walk, but okay.
yeah. She couldn't jump. She was out of steel. She couldn't even run very fast, but as she forced her body to move, it responded better and better, fighting off the dull numbness that she'd earned from relying on pewter so long. I mean,
Okay.
oh, ooh.
What?
Remember at the end of the first book, she drew upon the mists when her metal ran out, right?
Yeah,
Maybe you can only draw upon the mists if you don't have metal currently.
at
Because
all. Yeah.
yeah, because I think perhaps every time in this book she tried to draw on the mists, she also
She
had
hasn't.
metal.
Why wouldn't she? She's always got metal. You're right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
Ooh, I like
That
this.
is a good yeah, that's a good enough explanation for why she couldn't do it.
Yeah, and mm, yeah. Okay. She couldn't jump, she was out of steel. She couldn't even run very fast, but as she forced her body to move, it responded better and better, fighting off the dull numbness that she'd earned from relying on pewter so long. She burst out of an alleyway, skidding in the snow, and found a small group of people running before a Kolos raiding party. There were 6 of the beasts, small ones, but still dangerous. Even as Vin watched, one of the creatures cut down an elderly man, slicing him nearly in two. Another picked up a small girl, pressing her against the side of a building. Oh no.
Mine says slamming her. Mine
Oh,
says slamming. Slamming
slamming's
is a
better.
lot worse.
Yeah.
No, well, it's a worse for
It's
her.
worse, but it's a better word to use there.
Mm.
Vin dashed forward past the fleeing Ska, whipping out her daggers. She still felt exhausted, but adrenaline helped her somewhat. She had to keep moving, keep going. To stop was to die. Several of the beasts turned toward her, eager to fight. One swung for her, and Vin let herself slide in the slush, slipping closer to him, before cutting the back of his leg. He howled in pain as her knife got caught in his baggy skin. She managed to yank
Ugh,
it free as a second creature swung. Ew, indeed.
ugh. Like, yeah, my mouth gets stuck in your baggy skin. Ew. Okay. I feel so slow.
She thought with frustration, barely sliding to her feet before backing away from the creature's reach. His sword sprayed chill water across her, and she jumped forward, planting a dagger in the creature's eye. Thankful for the times Ham had made her practice without allomancy, she caught the side of a building to steady herself in the slush. Then she threw herself forward, shouldering the Kolos with the wounded eye. He was clawing at the dagger and yelling into his companions. The Kolos with the young girl turned, shocked as Vin rammed her other dagger into his back. He didn't drop, but he did let go of the child. Well, that's good.
Yeah, this is good. It is the thing of a, superhero not having their powers for a bit. You want to see them struggle through it.
Mm-hmm.
We have that.
Yeah,
And yes, we did have her training without allomancy, so this is important.
agreed.
She's still better than, like, Sazed would be, or anyone, or Ellen even at this stage.
Yes.
Lord Ruler, these things are tough,
She thought, cloak whipping as she grabbed the child and dashed away.
especially when you're not tough yourself. I need some more metals. Yes! This is what you
Yes.
do need.
The girl in Vin's arms cringed as a Kolos howl sounded, and Vin spun, flaring her tin to keep herself from falling unconscious from her fatigue. The creatures weren't following. They were arguing over a bit of clothing the dead man had been wearing. The how I mean, that's a way you could
Mhm.
get them to thin their numbers, like go through the mist and whisper things to them like, "Hey, that guy's a bad leader. Hey, that guy ate your horse." And Nah.
Or try and make them like, you're human, you're human. Try and be human now."
Yeah,
They're arguing over a bit of clothing. Interesting. So, do they like the way this guy was dressed? Like, they've killed this guy, and then now they're trying to be human and be like, "Hmm, I like his sense of fashion, you know? I wanna wear it. No, I wanna wear it." Yeah. We want them to be that preoccupied. We want them to start arguing with each other and things like that. Go on. Do it.
agreed. And the howl sounded again, and this time Vin realized it had come from another direction. People began to scream once more. Vin looked up, only to find those she'd just rescued facing down an even larger group of Kolos.
No.
Vin said, raising a hand. But they'd run for a minute there. I imagined she was saying no to the Kolos like it was a dog, and I imagined it stopping or them
But it's
stopping.
like, "No, don't go there. Don't go there."
But they'd run far while she'd been fighting. She wouldn't have been able to see them save for her tin. As it was, she could see painfully well as the creatures began to lay into the small group with their thick-bladed swords.
Ugh. The trauma of all of this that is happening right in front of your eyes and you're trying to deal. Ugh.
Mhm.
No!
Vin screamed again, the deaths startling her, shocking her, standing as a reminder of all the deaths she'd been unable to prevent.
No, no, no!
Pewter gone. Very well done. Pewter gone, steel gone, iron gone. She had nothing. Or she had one thing. Not even pausing to think on what prompted her to use it, she threw a Duralumin enhanced soothing at the beasts. Thank you!
Yes! Duralumin there is! Let's do it. You see what I mean? This is what I mean. It's just that they're so over the top that Breeze's soothing could not work on them. Come on, let's go.
Yes.
Please, please work. Look, we've had Vin's ideas not work before.
It was as if her mind slammed into a barrier, and then that barrier shattered. Vin skidded to a halt, shocked, the child still in her arms as the Kolos all stopped, frozen in their horrific act of slaughter.
Wow. Okay, just hold on. Let's see what you prefer, because you said into a barrier, right? Mine says it was as if her mind slammed into something, capital S. And then that something, capital S, shattered. Which one do you prefer?
I think I like mine better with barrier.
Mhm. I
But
think the word either or for me.
yeah,
Barrier and shattered go to well together pretty well, because you actually have an idea of what it looks like if
something
it's
with a
you if it's
capital S implies that there is
I see.
literally something to be broken,
Mhm.
uh,
Ah,
which there may well be. Whereas
mhm,
barrier, I think, lives more in the metaphorical. It was as if her
mm.
mind slammed.
Yeah.
So it depends specifically. Which one I like better will depend specifically, I think, on what is happening, and we don't have that full
The
information
pieces
yet.
matter. Yeah. What did I just do?
She thought, tracing through her muddled mind, trying to connect why she had reacted as she had. Was it because she had been frustrated? No, I think there's something deeper going on, but also if you're going to have to Duralumin an entire army, you're going to need a lot of the soothing metal, because that'll run
Mhm.
out quickly. How
Yeah,
long does
and a
this
lot of
paralyze work?
mhm. Yeah. But the thing is it this breaking thing that you broke the frenzy, it doesn't rebuild. What does it do? Is it in a permanent breakage or does it, like, bring itself back up again? You know, like, is this only a pause or have you broken some sort of spell on them?
Yeah.
I think it is just only a pause, but
Now, I will ask, we've used Deus Ex Marsh as sort of a joke,
mhm.
and we've enjoyed the Vin is special
Mhm.
thing that is constant in these two books. Is there a point where the Vin is special statement becomes an excuse for maybe a little bit of Mary Sue-ness?
It could be. It's possible, but we have so much emotional turmoil that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
With her. And so much thinking that has to go on with her that it's very hard to just put her in the Mary Sue and be the Mary Sue place where it's just
Yeah.
like, oh, everything just happens nicely for her. She's suffered so much. She has to suffer for things to actually for things to work. And yes, she is lucky, but there's also the idea of prophecy of things just happening as they're meant to happen. There is a point that that could happen, but I don't think it's now. I think I'm okay with her being this. I want her to be this special as well.
Yeah. I feel like when we find out why Vin is special,
Mhm,
it will improve things retroactively, or this potential concern I have. It isn't
mhm,
something that has like necessarily bothered me. I think it will be fine once we actually know why Vin is special.
mhm. What did I just do?
She thought, tracing through her muddled mind, trying to connect why she had reacted as she had. Was it because she had been frustrated? No, she knew that the Lord Ruler had built the Inquisitors with a weakness. Remove a particular spike from their back and they'd die. He had also built the Khandra with a weakness. The Kolos had to have a weakness too. Good Vin, smart Vin,
Jane soon called the Kolos his cousins.
she thought. Oh, is she going to be able to control the Kolos then with Duralumin like she did Tensoon?
Not yeah, well, it was Duralumin and emotional elemancy. That was a way
Mm.
that she could do it. So I think that that's a good enough reason that that reasoning was below the surface that was going on. She's exhausted. She'll just do stuff.
Mhm.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. She stood upright, the dark street suddenly quiet save for the whimpering ska. The Kolos waited, and she could feel herself in their minds, as if they were an extension of
Mhm.
her body. The same thing that she had
Wow.
felt when she'd taken control of Tensoon. Yeah, so she can control them now.
Mhm. I suppose this is what the Lord Ruler could do.
Yeah, cousins indeed. The Lord Ruler had built the Kolos with a weakness, the same one as the Khandra. He had given himself a way to keep them in check, and now she understood how he'd controlled them all those long years. Great.
That's a huge revelation. So she had to so they were basically under his spell or something, and that now they have nothing because he's gone. It didn't break that connection,
Mm-hmm.
and now she's gone and broken and connected herself in there. So they're a hive mind.
Yeah. So the big question becomes, does she try and Duralumin soothe everyone in the city to every Kolos, I mean, in the city to stop them all at once? Or does she like track down different hit squads of Kolos and be like, hey, you guys go fight other Kolos? And then the Kolos just all start turning on each other.
We need to figure out the how this works because does she have to be like focused on these on a certain group for it all to happen? She needs to get more metals so she can
Mm,
use them as like her squad to help her get to the metals, I suppose. And then she can go and just get more and more and more people in more and more Kolos into her control, I suppose.
yeah. Also, how difficult would it be to control 20 bodies at once? Like, can your
Yeah.
mind really process that? We know atium affects your mind to allow you to process timelines, but
Mm.
will this work the same?
Yeah. There is a lot. There is a lot to learn. So then we've got this typical Brandon Sanderson. We've got a reveal, but we've got more questions.
Yeah. Sazed stood at the head of his large band of refugees, Snow and Ash, the two now indistinguishable in the misty darkness, falling around him. Ham sat to one side, looking drowsy. He'd lost too much blood. A man without pewter would have died by now. Someone had given Sazed a cloak, but he had used it to wrap the catatonic breeze, even though he barely tapped his brass mind for warmth. Sazed himself wasn't cold. Maybe he was simply getting too numb to care. He held two hands up before him, forming fists, 10 rings sparkling against the light of the group's single lantern. Kolos approached from the dark alleyways, their forms huddled, shadows in the night.
And he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna try to fight them." He's looking at his fists. He's like, "Okay, I guess I'm gonna do this."
Yeah. Sazed's the only one left to be in
Mhm.
control.
Yeah, Ham's out, Breeze is out. Yeah.
Dachshund's not dead, but he's MIA. Sazed's soldiers backed away. There was little hope left in them. Sazed alone stood in the quiet snow, a spindly, bald scholar, nearly naked. He, the one who preached the religions of the fallen. He who had given up hope at the end. He who should have had the most faith of all. 10 rings, a few minutes of power, a few minutes of life. He waited as the Kolos gathered. The beasts grew strangely silent in the night. Maybe Vin's
Mhm.
doing all of them then.
Maybe, yeah, maybe you get the whole clan.
Yeah. They stood still, a line of dark mound-like silhouettes in the night.
Yeah, she's got them.
Yeah. The day is saved.
Mhm.
And then she'll send it out to attack Venture's army. And then Set will join in with the Kolos and be like, hey, Vin, Elend, I was totally on your side the whole time. Also, the 1,000 survivors who saw Penrod turn them away will be like, so we're not going to let Penrod be king anymore, right?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't they attack? Sazed thought, frustrated. A child whimpered. Then the Kolos began to move again. Sazed tensed, but the creatures didn't walk forward. They split, and a quiet figure walked through the center of them. Yeah, oh,
Very cool.
the day is saved.
Mhm.
Lady Wynn? Sazed asked. He still hadn't had a chance to speak with her since she'd saved him at the gate. She looked exhausted,
Sazed,
she said tiredly.
you lied to me about the Well of Ascension.
Yes, Lady Wynn, he said.
That isn't important now. Why are you standing naked outside the keep's walls?
He looked up at the Kolos. Lady Wynn,
Penrod!
Vin shouted suddenly.
Is that you up there?
The king appeared. He looked as confused as Sazed felt.
Open your gates!
Vin yelled. Are you mad? Penrod yelled back.
I'm not sure.
Vin said. She turned, and a group of Kolos moved forward, walking quietly as if commanded. The largest one picked Vin up, lifting her until she was nearly level with the top of the keep's low wall. Several guards on the wall shied away from her.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I bet this looks
It's a good show.
amazing.
I am in control, honey. They literally lifted me up.
Yep,
I'm tired, Penrod.
Vin said. Sazed had to tap his hearing tin mine to listen in on her words. We're all tired, child, Penrod said. No surprise that she's lifted by a. Okay.
Oh, he's trying to keep it together. He's being a nobleman about it and whatever.
Yeah.
I'm particularly tired. I'm tired of all the games. I'm tired of people dying because of arguments between their leaders. I'm tired of good men being taken advantage of.
Penrod nodded quietly.
I want you to gather our remaining soldiers.
Vin said, turning to look over the city.
How many do you have in there?
About 200, he said. Vin nodded.
The city is not lost. The Kolos have fought against the soldiers, but haven't had much time to turn on the population yet. I want you to send out soldiers to find any groups of Kolos that are pillaging or killing. Protect the people, but don't attack the Kolos if you can help it. Send a messenger for me instead. Okay, so it's
Okay.
not all of them. She's had to like spread her control. Okay.
Yeah. I wonder ultimately what her plan is.
She's tired. She needs rest. She's
Yeah.
in control. She gotta just try and get everything settled so she can damn well rest.
Yeah. Remembering Penrod's bullheadedness earlier, Sazed thought the man might object. He didn't. He only nodded. What do we do then? Penrod asked.
I'll take care of the Kolos. We'll go reclaim Keep Venture first. I'm going to need more metals, and there are plenty stored there. Once the city is secure, I want you and your soldiers to put out those fires. It shouldn't be too hard. There aren't a lot of buildings left that can burn.
Very well, Penrod said, turning to call out his orders. The power dynamic here is so interesting, and he's not going to be king after this. I don't see any way in which he can be. This feels
Yeah.
humiliating. I'm good on him for listening and
Mhm.
acquiescing, but hmm,
Revote. Yeah, because it's just no. Like I suppose she could kill him. She could have him killed right now,
yeah,
but she's tired of all the games and stuff. She's just like, no, no. Listen, just do what I'm telling you, and I'll deal with you. I suppose we have to use what we have in front of us right now. And remember, she is exhausted. Okay, so
Yes.
she needs metals and everything, so she'll have a bit more clarity going on in her head
Yeah.
after she gets metals. Yeah.
Yes. And it's intimidating being lifted up by a Kolos like that, I'm sure.
Mhm.
Sazed watched in silence as the massive Kolos lowered Vin to the ground. It stood quietly as if it were a monster hewn of stone and not a breathing, bleeding, living creature.
Sazed.
Vin said softly. He could sense the fatigue in her voice. Lady Wynne, Sazed said. To the side, Ham finally shook himself out of his stupor, looking up in shock as he noticed Vin and the Kolos.
Jeez. Where you been, Ham? I suppose he's been losing blood, okay.
Yeah, no, he's in trouble. Vin
Mhm.
continued to look at Sazed, studying him. Sazed had trouble meeting her eyes, but she was right. They could talk about his betrayal later. There were other more important tasks that had to be accomplished. I realize you probably have work for me to do, Sazed said, breaking the silence. But might I instead be excused? There is a task I wish to perform.
Of course, Sazed. But first, tell me, do you know if any of the others survived?
First off, I want to know what it is you intend to do, what
Go
your
and
task
find
is.
what he wants to go and find is Tyndall.
Yeah, that's where my mind went.
But I don't know what Vin wants him to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, Vin, I suppose, will just give him a task because that's what she's doing to everyone.
Yeah. Clubs and Doxon are dead, my lady, Sazed said. I have not seen their bodies, but the reports were from reliable sources. You can see that Lord Hammond is here with us, so he has suffered a very bad wound.
Hold on, you saw clubs.
Yeah, didn't you? And
Yeah.
and you did not see Doxon, so I'm not counting it, and you did not
Mhm.
have the good grace to think a single thing about it. Shame on you, Sazed. I'm angry. I know I've beaten that dead horse, but I like Doxon.
Yeah, and I'm wondering still. We still haven't had any sort of lampshading of that. Like, oh, geez, I was so in the moment that I realized Doxon. Like there isn't a throwaway line like Sazed said, realizing that Doxon was among them, them dead. Like that sort
Yeah.
of thing.
Doxon's death finally sinking in.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
You know,
Breeze.
she asked. Sazed nodded to the lump that lay huddled beside the wall. He lives, thankfully, although his mind appears to be reacting poorly to the horrors he saw. It could simply be a form of shock, or it could be something more lasting. Oh no. Also, I bet it is, but oh no.
Oh no, I don't want that. Then she can you know,
Soothing.
uh
Oh, but
yeah,
it's gonna
she'll
be
soothe him
so
or
sweet when he ends up being with Alrion and she
no,
like has to
Alrion will
soothe him all the time, kind of a
no,
thing.
Alrion has to riot him to
Or
wake
right.
him up and get him out of the comatose. So maybe that's what she'll do.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. She can't soothe. She can only riot.
Mhm.
Magic. Vin nodded, turning to Ham.
Ham, I need pewter.
He nodded dully, pulling out a vial with his good hand. He tossed it to her. Vin downed it, and immediately her fatigue seemed to lessen. She stood up straighter, her eyes becoming more alert. That can't be healthy, Sazed thought with worry. How much of that has she been burning? I mean, it's probably not,
Vin's a,
but.
yeah, Vin's a druggie, but she has to. Hello? We have to do this now. We don't have a choice.
Yeah. Her step more energetic, she turned to walk toward her Kolos. Lady Wynne? Sazed asked, causing her to turn around. There is still an army out there,
Oh, I know.
Vin said, turning to take one of the large wedge-like Kolos swords from its owner. Here it is! It was a
Woo! Yeah.
it was a few inches taller than she was. And
I am well aware of
she's gonna
yeah.
take do it she's gonna take the army to Straff.
Mhm. She's gonna kill him, but she needs to first her plan is to go to keep, Venture first.
Oh, that's right.
That's where
That's
she'll
right.
see whether Doxson is alive or not. She needs more metals. She's only using pewter just so that she can get there. I
Mm-hmm.
would it would be stupid for her to just take a little bit of pewter now and then go fight with the army over there. I think it's better to
Yeah.
take all your metals, be over prepared.
Yeah. No, you're right. I saw the word Straff and I was like, oh, that's happening. And my mind jumped ahead to that
Mhm.
happening.
I mean, it is. I think it is gonna happen, but she needs to do first things first.
Yeah.
I am well aware of Straff's intentions.
she said, hefting the sword up onto her shoulder. Then she turned, walking into the snow and mist toward Keep Venture, her strange Kolos guards tromping after her.
Yeah.
Very good.
Dockson's alive! Go and find him!
She's going to find Doxson alive.
Mhm.
It's going to happen.
She will use Tin and hear him breathing
Yeah.
under the rubble.
Yeah. Now, will Doxson have, like, a goodbye and then pass away? Maybe.
Aw.
But
Hmm.
I'll be really annoyed if Doxson dies.
You know, stays alive that long just so you could say goodbye. That's nah. I
Yeah.
would not be happy with that. Rather
Yeah.
leave it that there's just darkness. He's dead.
Yeah. It took Sazed well into the night to complete his self-appointed task. He found corpse after corpse in the frigid darkness, many of them iced over. The snow had stopped falling, and the wind had picked up, hardening the slush to slick ice. He had to break some of the corpses free to turn them over and inspect their faces. Yeah, he's looking for Tindwell.
Mm-hmm. And it seems like, yeah, she's probably dead. What do you think? Off-screen death of Tyndall, not good.
Yeah, no, I don't think she's dead.
Okay.
I do not think
Where
she
is
is
she
either.
then?
I don't.
She's with Marsh.
Maybe,
Marsh in the
maybe,
sky.
maybe a terraceman is needed to get to the Well of Ascension. So Marsh stopped by and, saw Sazed was doing really well. So he's like, okay, shit, I can't bother him. Where's the other one?
Sure.
Without the heat left in his brass mind, he could never have performed his grisly job. Even so, he had found himself some warmer clothing, a simple brown robe and a set of boots. He continued working for hours, the wind swirling flakes of snow and ice around him. He started at the gate, of course. That was where the most corpses were. Eventually, he had to move into alleyways and thoroughfares. He found her body sometime near morning.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's it.
no.
Mm-hmm. I think that he wanted that sentence to just hit us.
Hmm.
That he's just looking for her body and then he just finds her body. And you know what? The way it happened in my book is it's the last sentence on a page.
Ooh.
It's this is when I close the book and walk away
Mm-hmm.
and go for a swim or something because I just cannot handle it.
Yeah, no, that's rough. I liked Tindwell. I did not. I liked Tindwell
I
quite a
think
lot.
this finding no, yes, that's why it hurts.
I'm
But
so annoyed.
this thing of finding her dead, it brings in the another horror of war. Okay,
Yeah,
fine, seeing your friends die, but then you go and you have to find you. Luckily, he found her body. You know,
yeah.
he knows. I haven't seen the bodies. We're busy struggling with Doxson, not seeing Doxson's body.
Well, just because of that, because of this, now I am confident Doxson, even more so, I'm confident that Doxson is still alive because we need that roller coaster and that sweet, yay, we thought you were dead, but you weren't moment.
But we thought you thought you weren't dead, Tyndall, but you are.
Yeah.
Mm,
We'll get that little bit of levity with Doxson.
hoping so.
You know.
We don't know. We don't know.
Oh, rip Tindwell. The city had stopped burning. The only light he had was his lantern, but it was enough to reveal the strip of fluttering cloth in a snowbank. At first, Sazed thought it was merely another bloodied bandage that had failed in its purpose. Then he saw a glimmer of orange and yellow, and he moved over. He no longer had the strength to rush and reached into the snow. Tindwell's body
Mm.
cracked slightly as it rolled out. The blood on her side was frozen, of course, and her eyes were iced open. Judging from the direction of
Oh,
her flight, she had been leading her soldiers to Keep Venture.
yeah. We get this tragedy. This is, and her body is just rigid, frozen, gone. You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. I did not. Yeah, I'm okay.
Expecting it doesn't help anyway.
Yeah. Oh, Tindville, he thought, reaching down to touch her face. It was still soft, but dreadfully cold. After years of being abused by the breeding masters, after surviving so much, she had found this. Death in a city where she hadn't belonged, with a man. No, a half-man who did not deserve her. How dare you, Sazed? She made her choice, and it was the best choice she could have made.
Hmm.
What did you say to Vin about trusting in Elend to trust that he knows what kind of
Yes,
person
yes.
he wants?
He's feeling regret now because it's like if she didn't care about me, if we hadn't happened, then she would have left and she would have been alive.
Yeah. He released his brass mind and let the night's cold wash over him. He didn't want to
Oh,
feel.
this sorry. This over here. He's releasing because remember he was storing when we had him embrace
Hmm.
Tyndall. Okay? He turned off he let his senses turn back on, right? So that he could really experience her. Now he's doing the same sort of thing so he could experience all of this grief.
Hmm. That's nice. Yeah, that's good.
Mhm.
He didn't want to feel warm at the moment. His lantern flickered uncertainly, illuminating the street, shadowing the icy corpse. There in that frozen alley of Luthadel, looking down at the corpse of the woman he loved, Sazed realized something. He didn't know what to do. He tried to think of something proper to say, something proper to think, but suddenly all of his religious knowledge seemed hollow. What was the use in giving her a burial? What was the value in speaking the prayers of a long-dead god? What good was he? The religion of Dodrada hadn't helped clubs. It did, though. The survivor hadn't come to rescue the thousands of soldiers who had died, but Vin did. What was the point?
Mhm. There would be thousands more dead, hundreds more dead.
Yeah,
But yeah, Sazed is truly feeling it. This is it. This is what everybody was going through when he was trying to bring them hope with religion and belief and things like that. This is his own point of hopelessness.
yeah. None of Sazed's knowledge gave him comfort. He accepted the religions he knew, believed in their value, but that didn't give him what he needed. They didn't assure him that Tindwell's spirit still lived. Instead, they made him question. If so many people believed so many different things, how could any one of them, or anything at all, really be true? The Ska called
Oh, atheist Sazed.
atheist Sazed or rebellious teenage angst punk Sazed in Hero of Ages? I'm
I don't
kidding.
see him
That's
getting really yeah.
I don't
but
actually
but
think that.
yeah. Great image.
The Ska called Sazed holy, but at that moment he realized he was the most profane of men. He was a creature who knew 300 religions, yet had faith in none of them. So when his tears
Ooh, that's
fell,
a sorry, that's just a great line.
yeah, that is a really great line. So when his tears fell and nearly began to freeze to his face, they gave him as little comfort as his religions. He moaned, leaning over the frozen corpse. My life, he thought, has been a sham. Oh,
Yep. Seeing Sazed lose hope is something to behold.
yeah. That's tough.
Yep. And uh, this is what happens when you don't this is exactly it when we read now. Like if we had to read without a if we read the way we when we read normally without blind, you
Hmm.
kind of do this and you put the book down. You maybe you write a note and you send a message to Dorkus and say what the hell or whatever, but then you sit and you don't really have much to say because you're just reeling emotionally.
Yeah. So with that said, and we have so many more chapters of blind blinds to get through.
Oh, this is painful, but good, but painful.
Yeah. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great rest of your week. Subscribe to that darn Kita if you get a chance, because she's got a great channel. And we'll see you next time.
Okay,
Thanks,
thanks.
bye.
Bye.